What's up, everyone? Welcome to Evil PC Gaming. My name's Jim. Today, we're going to be doing Assetto Corsa and Project Cars, the Rematch. Put a video out of this back in May of 2015. I will link the old video to it. The video's still kicking some pretty good views out. And of course, there's a lot of people that either, agreed with my point of views. Then there was the other side that pretty much fucking hate me for it. You have your fanboys on both sides. Turned out at last video, I was a bigger fan of Assetto Corsa. We'll see if anything changed here by the end of the video. If you have anything to say about the games, whether you agree, disagree, make sure you put some comments down below. I love watching people fight and argue over it. A lot of people had some really, really good points. Also, if you did find the video informative, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It really helps the channel out a lot. And if you haven't already and you like what you see, all I ask is you consider subscribing to the channel. That also helps. It helps me out a lot. So let's get into it. Let's get this show on the road. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the graphics again. We're gonna take a look at the sounds again. We're gonna take a look at the handling, force feedback. Last video, I was not too happy with the force feedback in Project Cars. We'll see if that changed or not. What else are we going to take a look at? Oh, we're going to take a look at the multiplayer aspect of the game. We're going to see which game, depending on what you're looking for, whether you're looking to go multiplayer, single player. We'll take a quick glance at the career mode. Now, everything is set up out of the box pretty much. Graphic-wise, I did turn everything up for the effects and the visuals to try to get the best quality video that I could for you guys. And I also removed the helmet, the helmet cam in Project Cars, and the blur down at the gauges in the peripheral view if you're going pretty quick. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. That is, again, that might be your preference. You can keep them on, take them off. Don't let that sway you whether you should get a game or not get a game, just because of some simple effects that you can turn on or off. So, without further ado, let's get into some details of this game, see which one still comes out on top, in my opinion, which I am entitled to, and then, of course, we'll see if people down below in the comments agree or disagree. In this video, we're going to be using the Pagani Zonda R. So I also found a clip of the race car that we can compare sounds to, but I could not find a good one from within the car that wasn't video game related. So here's the video, here's the sound clip of the actual car, and then hopefully we'll work those in, and you can remember what it sounds like, and I'll try to overlay it also with the sounds over top the video, and we'll try our best to get the comparison made with the sound clip that I could find that was of good quality. Now what I'm going to do next is you're going to hear the in-game sound, and then I'll show you, via text of the sound of the same video clip that you just heard, and try to match up the acceleration pieces so you can get a good idea between the two games and which sound is more accurate. So let's take a look at Assetto Corsa first. Now, guys, before you say it, I know that it is hard to make an exact comparison because I'm showing inside the car in the game, but then hearing the real Pagani Zonda R outside is different because the environment affects it depending on the quality of the camera, while the microphone on the camera, all that kind of stuff can affect it. But all in all, since I could not find a good quality in the cockpit recording sound of this vehicle, this is the best I can do. And from my ears, it still gave a pretty decent comparison between the two games. So now let's move on and take a listen to the sound in Project Cars and see how they compare. Now, when it comes to that sound test, that is a tough one to decide which game has the better sound. Now, I'm going to have to go out on a limb here. I'm going to show you another clip. And one thing Assetto Corsa has is kind of the drivetrain whine to it. Now, this is part of the same clip of this Pagani coming back into the pits. Now, don't get me wrong, Project Cars, the sound was very good on this car. I've never heard the car in real life. I've never driven the Pagani in real life, of course. But I'm going to have to give the point to Assetto Corsa for going with that kind of detail on the whining noise of what I believe is the drivetrain whine of it, which I have heard that on race cars before. And the Assetto Corsa kind of has the pitch, I think, more in tune to where Project Cars was a little bit deeper of a pitch in the engine. I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know down below. So anyway, let's move on to some graphics. Everyone loves eye candy, so let's take a look. All right, so first up, we're going to take a look at Project Cars for the graphics. Graphic-wise, Project Cars definitely has the graphics going on. The particle effect, if you saw a little bit ago, some rubber, it looked like it flew up towards the windshield. Could have been dirt. I saw grass flying, the smoke, the dust, reflection of the brake lights off of the pavement, though that would vary on the pavement surface, how much, and time of day and all that, how much the light would actually reflect off the surface. But you can see it there, it's faint enough to where it's there. It is noticeable, and it is giving the impression that the light is actually emitting out of that car and onto the ground. Project Cars also does a good job with the effects that is kind of out of sight, out of mind. When you're looking over in the crowd, you can see a guy like waving a flag and people moving. That kind of immersion is very nice, though for me it is not needed. Because if I'm going down the racetrack 200 miles an hour, I'm not looking at the guy waving a flag. I'm not looking at people jumping up and down the stands. The Project Cars definitely did a fantastic job in the graphics and the effects department. Now, Assetto Corsa does not have bad graphics. They don't have that great of the special effects Project Cars throws out there for the eye candy. Like taking off here. You can see there's a crowd sitting in the stands. Doesn't have full stands. Would I notice that while I'm racing and coming up on someone's bumper? Absolutely not. You can see people standing off in the side there. I can tell there's people there. That's fine with me. Now, as far as, like, say, the brake light effect, don't get the reflection on the ground even in the shadows. Sometimes it's a little difficult to see the brake lights come on the AI cars. Sometimes that does throw me off because my brain's telling me that they're not braking, so I probably shouldn't brake. I'm almost using them to gauge my speed into the turns. you know, when you're up close to see them, sometimes they appear to be flickering. I don't know if they're supposed to, for like an attention grabber kind of thing. Don't know, so I'm not going to say that's right, that's wrong. But it's not a wonderful effect. Now the windshield being dirty and the sun reflecting the, you know, the glare across the windshield causing my view to be, you know, a little disturbed from the light rays. That's a good effect. I do like that. You won't get any kind of, you know, tire marbles laying on the track, flying up, hitting your car. You won't get any mud or anything like that, though you will get the dirt on the tires, and you'll hear that pinging off the body when you go off track and come back. You will get the dust cloud kick up when you hit the grass. All in all, Assetto Corsa is pretty. To me, it's a little bit more realistic looking, maybe because of the scenery. It just seems a little bit more natural to me, anyway. But I am going to have to give a point over to Project Cars based on the attention to detail with the tire marbles, rubber, dirt, stuff like that coming up onto the car. Just the overall effects, the effect of the lighting. All in all, Project Cars is going to take this, though it is a tough comparison. Project Cars definitely has my vote in the graphics department. Let's move on to handling and the AI. We can kind of cover both right within the same subject here. The force feedback in Project Cars, last time I played this, back, you know, with the May 2015 comparison video, force feedback fell flat on its face in Project Cars. Of course, everyone had, you know, chimed in, oh, you got to go in there and tune the force feedback and adjust this and adjust that. And there was people coming back and, well, I did this and I did that and I spent an hour and it still doesn't feel right. I'm sorry, but out of the box, that force feedback should feel as close to realistic as possible. I mean, that's the dev's job. It's not my job to go in there and program the fucking force feedback. But it seems like the devs have fixed it. A couple comments did say the force feedback was better, and I gotta say it is. It is definitely better. You can definitely feel the car a lot more now. But on that note, AI drivers still need a little bit of work. They're very, very aggressive. If you try blocking a driver, he'll go out in the dirt and go around you. If you get pushed off in the dirt, take a turn too sharp, whatever, and you go across the dirt, it doesn't really give you that slow down feel. You know, like you're being bogged down in the dirt and the mud and the muck, whatever. It just, I didn't feel that. I jumped a couple curbs when I was testing it out, and sometimes I did intentionally. I didn't really feel the jump of the curb as well as I do in Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa hitting a curb can really throw off your steering and send you around in a spin if you hit it wrong. Just like in real life, if you guys ever hit a pothole going down the highway, you know, 70, 80 miles an hour, if you hit a pothole or a good bump in the road, you can kind of feel the back end kind of scoot over on you, you know, when you're in a turn. And you'll feel it in the steering wheel, like, you know, you'll feel that the car adjusted itself once it hit the ground and it continued back on track. Now, the AI, I had everything set in both games on realistic or real. Assetto Corsa was set on Pro. Project Cars was set on realistic, pro drivers. I gotta say, any kind of slip up in the driving, the AI drivers pretty much take the best, you know, perfect line possible. That's all well and good to offer the challenge to the player, but if you mess up on a turn or two, you will fall so far behind, you're hitting the escape button and restarting the game. Also on handling, there was a couple of times where I intentionally just went right off the track, zipped across the track, nice tight right-hand turn, tight 90-degree turn. Did the same track in both games in Mola. Forgot to mention that earlier. Went straight across, didn't even feel like I slowed down. Hell, the results in the steering wheel didn't even feel like I went off the road that much. You figure in a racing car with how stiff the suspension is, it really felt that. I don't know. I mean, maybe not going across that quick, I guess that would depend on how soft the ground is. I could just tear the ground up and keep on rolling. But it left a little bit more to be desired in the overall force feedback of the game. Did they improve it? Yes. Is it definitely playable out of the box in force feedback? Most definitely now. There was a couple times that starting off with the same car coming out of a turn, to me, felt like I should have been in second gear, put it in second gear. It was just the back end was kind of floating, and there was a couple times there the wheel would just float right and left, and I was sitting there trying to easily compensate it so I would not oversteer or understeer the car, and it was hard to get it back on the straight and narrow and go, to where I would have to take the turns and come out of the turn accelerating in third gear, which then resulted in too low of a gear, and the AI would out-accelerate me. Also on the AI note, seems like their brakes are better. I set the brakes to real. I set the car options for the ABS and traction control to real in both games, which means if the car has it in real life on the track, it will have it in the game. So that's the way I set it. On the note of braking, no matter how hard I brake in Project Cars, the wheels do not lock up, attempt to lock up, or even give me that ABS kind of skip, shake feel that you'll get in real life. I'm sure if you've locked your brakes up enough, I don't care if you have ABS or not, you can feel the ABS motor kick on, your brake pedal feels kind of weird, just, feels like a bit of a shudder, and your wheels can lock and release. I'm sure a race car is more finely tuned. It just didn't feel, almost felt spongy to me on the brakes. No matter how hard I crammed the brake pedal down, and I'm racing with a G27, the AI could always brake better than me. When I would brake at the same time they would brake and put the brake pedal clear to the ground, it still braked better than I did. So I find without the brakes, without having to know where that threshold braking is, if you don't know what threshold braking, that's pushing the brakes to the point of lockup, but not locking up. Doesn't really give you that skill set to where you also not only need to control your gears and your throttle, but you also need to control your braking, which I feel is just as important in racing as throttle control and steering control. So anyway, let's move over to Assetto Corsa. The AI in Assetto Corsa I thought was better than in Project Cars last year, and I still think it is. As you see, like even on a start, not everyone gets a perfect start. Not every AI driver takes the perfect fucking line around the track to where if I mess up on a turn or two, hit the escape, restart the session. I did that way more in Project Cars than I had to in Assetto Corsa. No matter how shitty I drove or how good I drove, in Project Cars, something caused me to usually restart the session so I can finish the race somewhat cleanly. Assetto Corsa, you will definitely restart sessions. Don't get me wrong. The handling and the AI, in my 2 cents, is a bit more in tune to what I like. If I jump a curb in Assetto Corsa, I feel it in the wheel. If the ASN hits it, I kind of feel the wheel kick out just like I do in real life when I'm going down a highway, around a bend, hit a pothole, and the ASN kind of skips over on me. I can feel that in the wheel. I can feel that in the whole car. So they do a good job of, transporting that feeling through the wheel into your hands. When I'm out off the road, just like then, I can feel that in the wheel. Sometimes you're fighting the wheel in Assetto Corsa just because of the feedback effects when you start going sideways or you're in that dirt. I find that the braking is more realistic to me. I do have to worry about threshold braking in Assetto Corsa, even though the car has ABS. You can still push it to the point to where it just wants to plow straight ahead, or you oversteer because you weren't applying enough, kind of thing. Project Cars, I don't know, it almost seems like I had a brake assist on. I even went back and checked the options, and I did not have a brake assist on. So, whatever. Take it for what it's worth. Again, the force feedback in Assetto Corsa, I still think feels better than Project Cars. The AI, I still think respond better than Project Cars. They seem to race more realistically. Some are racing safe, some are racing hard. I had them both set on realistic. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe that's just my brain, the way I was taking it. They all didn't race like they were top-notch, world-renowned race car drivers. I take it they all should race professionally, and they do. But I could almost see a different skill set throughout the drivers on the track, which I really like that. So anyway, let's move on to multiplayer of the two games. So now when it comes to user interface, Project Cars is definitely prettier. It's definitely easier to navigate. There's plenty of things to do, especially when it comes to, I guess, the social side of the game, the multiplayer side of the game. Put your name in, put a nickname in. I like the fact you can pick your car number. I do like that. Some people actually care about what number they're going to get. You definitely have the variety of numbers you can go through. And then you get to pick your country. Which I did not hop on multiplayer, because it was pretty late when I was putting all this footage together. I'm guessing it would represent your country. Assetto Corsa pretty much lets you choose the car that you're going to drive, the paint scheme,
Congratulations.
and that's about it. I don't have any footage of the Assetto Corsa menu and the multiplayer list due to a recording issue. Whatever, I'm not going to go back and do it. The menu, the user interface, it's simple and functional, kind of clunky, but it works. Project Cars, eye candy all around, in-game and menus. Project Cars has a better social, outlet built into the game. You can do racing events and check Project Cars news and all that kind of stuff. I think there's an option for it in Assetto Corsa. Never used it because, honestly, either game, I don't care. I like multiplayer racing. And the whole point of the whole multiplayer, view into the game here, if you're looking for the game, a racing game, to get on and race competitively, you better look for another title. Neither game is going to fulfill your need for the online competitive racing. And when you do find servers, it's just for that race. There's no stats, there's no nothing. Unless you're part of a community that runs racing events, kind of like how we were talking about doing it over at evilpcgaming.com, it would just be for bragging rights, run one race a week or whatever we chose to. That's all you get with it. If you're looking for the full-fledged multiplayer race against real people, full servers, stat tracking, the whole 9 yards, I suggest you save up some money and then go get into iRacing. iRacing's a whole different video that I can bring you. Kind of a different beast. So all in all, I'm going to have to give the point to Project Cars because they did have more multiplayer servers, though not many. They did have more to choose from. And they did have a better way to hook you into the social world of Project Cars. So one more thing I want to go over to wrap up this video, because it is getting kind of long. I want to go over some features that Project Cars has that Assetto Corsa does not. Some people might care about this, some people might not. I personally don't. But I have read Assetto Corsa is planning on bringing weather effects and nighttime racing. Project Cars has it already. Project Cars does it very nicely. So let's take a look at that. On this clip here, I set the weather to thunderstorm. They did a very good job with the visuals and the sound of the rain. Now I gotta say, the overall effect of the performance and handling of my car was affected. Does not seem like the AI was affected as much as me. I don't know about you, but when I get into a game and I set the game for realistic, I expect their cars to respond the same way mine would. Like right there, I'd hardly hit the gas and it was enough to break traction and spin out. I understand. I get it. It's wet. Why didn't any of the AI drivers go off the track or wreck? That kind of shit kind of angers me. You know, I don't want to see AI that is absolutely perfect. I want to see an AI that resembles a human being. But again, the weather effect, the rain, the overspray coming up off the cars. I forgot to turn on my windshield wiper blades and my headlights. All that kind of stuff, they did a fantastic job at. Even the reflections down the water seem to be a little bit more pronounced. I really like the attention to detail in it. When you move over to the nighttime racing, same thing. They did a really good job with the nighttime racing. They did a good job with the overall headlight effects. The way they glare, the way they produce shadows up on the wall. It's very nicely done. Would I like to see at least nighttime racing in Assetto Corsa? I would like to, because some of these GT races, you know, hell, they can go 24 hours a day, so you're going to experience weather and nighttime. Is it a game breaker for me to have weather and have, nighttime? No, because when I race, I'm racing with friends. I'm racing online. I'm not racing career mode. I'm not really getting into it for the eye candy. I'm getting into it for the overall handling of the car and the competition of racing live human beings. I don't know if I said earlier, I might have. If you want to get into live racing human beings with competitive racing in mind, save your money, go get iRacing. But iRacing will cost you a lot of money. That is a whole nother video. Maybe I can do that. Pit iRacing up against Project Cars and or Assetto Corsa. If you like that idea, let me know down below. As far as it goes right now, I did read Assetto Corsa is supposed to be adding nighttime and is supposed to be considering adding weather effects. When and will it for sure? I have no idea. Of course, we all know we can't believe everything that we see on the internet. Some of it's speculation, some of it's fact, some of it's just rumor, whatever. If it comes, it comes. I don't care either which way. You may. So let's sum all this up. Project Cars, I'm giving it to them for graphics, the social aspect of the game, how it ties you all in with news and leaderboards and everything. Multiplayer, because I did have a few more servers on Assetto Corsa. They both sucked at it. There wasn't much action going on. Career mode, I'm going to have to give it to Project Cars. Definitely does a better job of making it more story-like. I know I didn't really cover much of that. It's more story-like, and it seems like it's going to do a better job of keeping you interested in that career and advancing if you're interested in career racing. Weather and night racing, that's a bonus for Project Cars. I can't compare that to Assetto Corsa. They don't have it yet. So says the internet. Speculation and rumors. From what I read. I don't know. And Project Cars definitely has more cars and more tracks. Over on the Assetto Corsa side, though, I'm going to give it to them in sounds. I think it was closer in sound. Not just that car, but other cars, to me, seems to sound better. Again, this is going to be preference. Handling, I think, is better in Assetto Corsa. AI drivers, I think, drive better and more realistic in Assetto Corsa. Force feedback is definitely better in Assetto Corsa, though. Project Cars did a great job fine-tuning that to where it works out of the box, finally. I'm not fucking tuning it for an hour. And then, just for a little bonus that, of course, I didn't talk about before, but a lot of people mentioned in comments, and I've already done myself, though I've never mentioned it. Assetto Corsa does support third-party add-on cars and add-on tracks. And I'm not talking about the Dream Packs. You can buy more Dream Packs, which will add more cars. That definitely brings the car numbers up and the track numbers up. But I still think Project Cars, without physically counting every single one, Project Cars still appears to have more cars. I'm talking about third-party, free-to-download shit that you can go find on the internet. And the ones I've tried like Mustangs and tried like, I forget what the hell it was. There was a couple other cars. It's been a little while since I've done the whole third-party thing, but they were pretty decent. Again, I multiplayer race, so if not everyone has the same car, well, then you can't run the multiplayer race. Whatever, no big deal. So now you might ask, well, Jim, what game are you leaning towards now? Which one do you like better? honestly, I'm still an Assetto Corsa fan. Why? I'd rather my car handle, to me, what feels more realistic. I like the sounds in both games, so, whatever. And I like the force feedback. The handling and force feedback really falls together. And the graphics in Assetto Corsa is still good. It's just not as pretty with all the special effects as Project Cars. So anyway, I hope you guys found it informative. I hope you found it useful. I say let the fighting and arguing begin down in the comments below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you think I'm a fucking retard and I don't know what I'm talking about and my comparison was way the fuck off, whatever. Thumb it down. Fuck off. I don't care. And of course, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor. I'm trying to get my sub numbers up. Put a lot of time work into the videos. Just shows me that people are enjoying my work and drives me to keep doing it. So if you don't mind, and you liked it, consider subscribing. Alright guys, that's about all I got. This video's gone a bit longer than I wanted it to, and I need a fucking drink. My throat's killing me. Anyway guys, stay tuned for more Versus videos. I have a couple more games in mind I'm going to compare to. Survival games and racing games and all kinds of shit. Alright guys, later. Alright guys, that's my time, and remember, if you did like the video, click the like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing for more videos to come. And if you have time for another video, check out the one right here. As always guys, thanks for watching, and until next time.